My name is Dan, 1000 ASINs, 80 million of sales on Amazon accounting. This is my coach, Kenny. He coaches in my program, ECG, and was a former student. So we're just gonna talk about the landscape going into 2026. All right.
Yeah, so
What you got for me?
going into 2026, you've had a really good 2025. You got a lot of new things on the table, like a new property, you got new brands, you got new distributors, everything like that. What are you most excited about going into it?
I'm excited for just continued growth. I see like it's all kind of mapped out. Got some great brands I'm working with and a lot of new opportunities that I think are massive, massive potential. So most exciting is the SBA loan I'm working on, which is gonna give me the capital to actually be able to support these brands and grow myself in the process. Let me explain to all the viewers about why the SBA loan is such a game changer. So if you're an Amazon seller, a lot of like traditional banks, they don't really like to loan to Amazon sellers. Your inventory is all at Amazon, all their Amazon warehouses, and banks don't like that. They're like, oh, well, what if you default? How do we get our collateral back? How do we get the inventory back? So as a result, like getting a traditional bank loan is pretty tough for an Amazon sellers. All these like alternative finance products have emerged that are like really high interest rates, like 20–30% a year. And then like the payback term is super short, like 6 to 12 months.
Wow.
And so you borrow this money, you're paying a ton of interest, you're paying them back like very, very rapidly. And it's hard to like actually use that money to grow long term. The SBA, on the other hand, they're kind of like the holy grail of small business loans. So the loan limit is up to $5 million and the term is 10 years. So they give you the money, you have 10 years to pay it back. As you can imagine, the monthly payment is a lot less if you're paying that money back over 10 years versus 6 months. So the money gets in your business and it actually stays there and your monthly payment isn't like this huge crippling thing on cash flow. And then lastly, the interest rate is way more reasonable. It's prime lending rate, which is a rate currently around like 7–7.5%. And then they add a couple percentage points on top of that. So my particular loan that I'm working on is gonna be like $2.5 million. It's gonna refinance all my higher interest, shorter term debt. And then it's gonna give me another $1 million on top of that to buy new inventory. And the cool thing is my monthly payments across my current debt right now, close to $100,000 a month. My monthly payment for having the same amount plus $1 million is gonna be $33,000 a month. So
Okay.
I'm gonna be able to keep like 70 grand more in the business and have an extra $1 million to work with. And it's actually gonna stay in my business and can be recycled in inventory rather than like paid back super rapidly. Yeah. I know that was long-winded, but it's a huge game changer for my business. It's gonna help me go from like 30 million of revenue, hopefully to 40, 50 and beyond. So this bank is like, we're comfortable with 2.5 right now, but if you have a really good year in 2026 and things go according to plan, we're gonna bump that up to the loan limit, which is 5 million. And then that's gonna help catapult me into like, 50, 60, 70, 80 million revenue a year. Yeah, revenue goal is 40 million. So I'm gonna end 2025 at 30 million. We're looking for 33% growth to get from 30 to 40 million. I think I could do that honestly within my existing brands just by doing an even better job of staying in stock. But then we have some new opportunities as well that can definitely bring us there. And one of my biggest opportunities actually is not brand direct. Everyone's gonna be like, oh wow, like not brand direct. But let me be clear, like I'm not opposed to like buying from distributors. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. So if you have a great brand you can buy through distribution and keep selling for years and years, that's great. And I have one of those brands that I'm hopefully gonna do an enormous amount of volume with. So that's exciting to me. I can't name names, but that should help catapult me as well.
The brand direct model that's a huge catapult to like, this is a legit business. Like this is not it's gonna be gone in 2 months. Like you have
and that's the goalpost. That's the ideal with Amazon Wholesale. Have a great business with Amazon Wholesale through distribution or imports or whatever. The shining star of Wholesale is brand direct. So it's what like we're all ascribing towards in a perfect world, pushing towards. But if you need to also buy from distributors as well as you go towards that long term, no problem. Yeah.
In 2026, are you going to have to leave this warehouse or add more racks or like reorganize? What are you going to do?
Yeah, we actually talked about that recently with my warehouse manager, and we actually had a lot of like stagnant inventory that we kind of like forecasted a little too aggressively. So we have a lot of stuff in the racks, and when something's in your warehouse, unless you're FBMing it and selling it on other channels, that's actually just like, it's like lost opportunity cost. It's one of our initiatives for 2026 is like not let anything sit for like a year and like be a little bit more careful about just like blindly forecasting. So as a result, like we're finally like flushing out some of this stuff, and we're gonna have more storage space. And I think we can use this warehouse for another year and still hit our numbers, and that's fine. And one cool thing is, like, as an Amazon seller, you're just selling widgets. So like one way to grow, it's not necessarily just processing more units, it's also increasing the average order value. So right now we're processing about 100,000 units a month. We could double our sales processing those same 100,000 units a month if our average sale price doubles. So if we go from like a $20 average sale price to a $40 average sale price, it's no additional work for these guys. It's just the products we're selling are more expensive. We could go up and up and up until our average sale price is $100, $200, $500. If you imagine, like, you know, a jeweler selling diamonds, like they might be pushing more revenue and profit out of a 8x8 room than this whole warehouse. So it's not just about growing space. Like, you don't necessarily need more space to grow in income, in revenue and profit. You just need a different product mix as well. And our growth this year actually came from two sources. We processed 17% more physical units this year than last, but our average selling price also went up about 25%. So those two things combined allowed us to grow like 40, 50%.
You probably have a handful of brands that maybe aren't worth your time anymore, that might be on the lower end of the ASP.
Yeah.
And you know, you want to take that time and effort and put it into something that's $40 instead of $12.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it's constant refinement. So like, yeah, I do have my like year in, year out brands that will, you know, I'll be with them hopefully for a very, very long time. But yeah, when you have a limited like set of capital, it's like, where do you best spend it? How do you optimize it?
Not every opportunity is like the right opportunity.
For sure. Yeah, there have been plenty of brands where it's like, okay, this was worth it early in my journey. It maybe netted me 500 or $1,000 a month. And it's like, okay, like it's just too tough to do like 100 POs with 100 suppliers to make like, you know, small chunks of money. I'd rather work with less suppliers and do huge business with them than like 100 suppliers and each one nets you $1,000. But there's a time and place for that, like, which I like. So like, and they were thinking, watching like that's a beginner. It's like, yeah, there's so many brands out there that are like the $1,000 to $2,000 net brands. And a lot of people out there, they're looking just for like extra income too. Amazon can be whatever you want it to be. Like it doesn't have to be this, like a huge warehouse. It can be like, you have full-time jobs still and you work 10 hours a month on it and you make an extra 2, 3, 4 grand to fund like your lifestyle, or more travel or whatever, pay bills. So it can be anything like that. Yeah, the cool thing is, like, as the sellers get bigger, often they'll like be like, thank you, but I'm moving on to bigger and better. And then the newer sellers will come in and like take their place. So.
Yeah, and if you're getting into it, you know, to try to pay bills or just have a little extra money on the side, like you can, that might be the goal going in. And then once you get a taste of that life, like we've talked about it before, it's like, I
remember you said, you're like, oh, if I just hit like 300K a year, that's good for life. I'm like, just gonna play golf.
Maybe like 500K a year would be like, I could feel good about, you know, like everything I'm doing. I buy a car, I could buy a house, whatever. But then it's like the same thing as if you were making 10K a month. Like the feeling's almost the same.
The brain just gets used to whatever.
You get used to it.
That's the problem. Like the human brain.
You're gonna want bigger. It's gonna go back.
You get used to a new normal that's better, and then you're like, oh, well, what if I like doubled that? And then
it's not as hard to like to go from that to the next step.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the other reason why like everyone wants more and more with Amazon, because everyone sees that has had some success. Like, wow, like I could scale this into like double this or 10 times this or 50 times this. Like there's no like limitation. Like you don't see some like end of the road where it's like, okay, I've like done everything I can do. It's like literally the sky's the limit. It's tempting to just like keep pushing. And like for me, I like to keep pushing. Like I don't even have an end goal in mind, like specifically, but I do like pushing myself in the business just to see how far it can go, like as a personal challenge. And you know, it's almost like a video game, just like new high score, new high score, like just keep going. As long as I'm capable of doing it, like I'm just gonna keep going. So, personally, I'm not worried. So in terms of like fulfillment fees, they actually barely increased them. I think they said it's going up like 8 cents a unit on average. So that's cool. Like that's always a little concerning every year. Like, is Amazon gonna introduce a new type of fee, or are they gonna like skyrocket? But the last 2 years, they really haven't been bad. I think they went pretty hard in like 2023. They introduced like 2 or 3 new fee types. That was really kind of difficult to adapt to, but now everyone's kind of used to it now. Amazon's like, all right, we're gonna cool it a bit. And like, so they kept fees flat last year and they're barely increasing this year. So that's not a concern in terms of like margin erosion. And my business model, what I'm doing is going to work in 2026, just brand direct partnerships. So there's nothing personally I'm going to have to like adapt to. Whereas there are arbitrage sellers I talk to where it's like, they're like going hard on like 1 or 2 brands, and then like they could just get that brand like clipped, and then like they have a ton of like stranded inventories. That's like, it's risk reward. I mean, like I know some people printing money on like some arbitrage brands, and I hope they continue to for a long time. But me personally, I wouldn't be able to sleep very well at night knowing that like one day I'll just get an email and be like, oh, all your inventory is stranded, you're gated now. I like to be like a little more secure. The brand knows that I'm selling the products on Amazon. We're partnered together. So there's no like overnight, like you're effed. And then furthermore, I don't like relying on any single brand either. Like if I had just 1 or 2 brands, if I lose one of them, which does happen sometimes, brands like can move on or decide to sell themselves on Amazon, stuff like that can happen. I don't want like half my business to like shut off overnight. So I have like 10 plus brands that I do pretty big volume with. So if I ever lost one of them, they like moved on from working with me, then my business doesn't take this massive hit. So fortunately, I'm in a position where I can say more of the same. I don't really have to make any adaptations at all. So
I think the only concern would be like distribution, right? So in your business, like you work with some distributors.
Yep.
But what if you get gated?
Yeah, that's
And
about
the brand doesn't want to help you, then, you know, and the invoices they should work, but they don't always work. We've seen it with you know, all kinds of different things.
Yeah, distribution, you're not like fully protected either, unless the brand knows.
Unless you're an authorized seller.
Yeah, exactly.
Contacted them and everything.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff we buy through distribution actually is with the brand's blessing. Some brands just will not sell direct. They say, we just sell to these distributors. You're authorized for Amazon, but you still have to buy through the distributor. That's pretty safe, but if you're just buying wholesale products through distributors, that same gating issue can affect you. So that's actually not even just unique to arbitrage. Like that could easily happen if you're just buying wholesale without the brand like direct relationship. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
And I do have some, like it's not much anymore, but maybe 10-15% of my business is like wholesale, and the brand hasn't explicitly authorized me. I'm ungated, I sell it, but there's a small part of my business that could like get locked up. And for me, it's an acceptable part. It's like 10-15% if like the absolute worst happens.
And it's worth it at the time, right?
Exactly. So it's a risk reward. It's a calculated risk, and I think it is worth it, but not for your entire business.
No.
Maybe as a chunk of it. So yeah, good point there. I still think it's very possible to succeed in 2026 and beyond using this business model. I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon for the next decade or two. So if you want to have a very safe, secure business with a lot of longevity and looking to do this specific business model with Amazon, we've put together what I believe is the most comprehensive program by far out there on the market, and it's always getting better. We're still adding more modules to it, more resources to it. Click the link below. Someone from my team can talk to you about exactly what's in the program, what you'll learn, a little bit about the business model, and whether we're a good fit to work with each other. We want our students to actually be successful and give you a realistic viewpoint of what is required in terms of capital and effort, and we want to see you succeed. And thanks for watching. See you in the next video.